Um, Coach Meyer talked about how he knows that Michigan State's going to make sure that they take away the bread and butter of the run game. Put more pressure on you guys. How quick do you think you are to handle that challenge?
Well, I feel good about it. I mean, I think we've made strides in the past 8 months and really in the past 3 weeks. So we're ready for it. I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge, but we're up for the challenge. I think that Devin Smith obviously has made a number of plays, and I feel good about where he is and where he's going to be. Philly Brown has come along and really drawn a lot of attention in coverage. So Jake Stoneburner also, and then Evan Spencer's had a pretty good year so far, just as far as development and getting better. And we'll see that needs to continue, but I feel good about where we are right now.
Austin Ward, ESPN.com. Zach, what is it like to coach a guy like Devin right now? Because he seems to make all the hard plays, and there have been some relatively easy ones that have slipped away.
Yeah, I mean, he's really awesome. It's awesome to coach him because he's such a competitive kid that not making even a hard play, a hard catch, maybe an uncatchable ball, he feels like he should catch it. So it's really easy to coach him because he's as hard on himself as I could ever be on him. So and he'll get better at those things, just focusing and locking in on the football. And he's obviously capable because he's made some catches that are unbelievable, and then some of the easier catches that he hasn't made. He'll continue to get better at that.
Dave Biddle, Bucknuts. Zach, what are you seeing out of Michael Thomas at this point? He got his first playing time on Saturday, got a 6-yard reception. What does he need to get better at? What's kind of holding him back at this point?
He just needs to continue to develop. I mean, it's just an accountability where, as the receivers, we're going to make sure that every guy that goes in the game is going to get his job done as a unit. Our whole group's going to do that, and we feel good about where Mike is right now. And he's going to continue to get better. He's going to play again Saturday, and he's going to get more playing time as the season goes on.
Rusty Miller, Zach, I know you haven't spent a whole lot of time with the players since the game, but do you get the sense that they realize they're kind of turning the page? This is another stage now to move on to Big Ten. This is a little bit different than what they've gone through.
Yeah, I mean, you could feel it at practice yesterday, and it's a little different buzz. I mean, it's not a non-conference game anymore. This is Big Ten football. I mean, it's a whole different mentality around here, and you can feel it. Not as much. I can't really explain what it is. You know it's different. It just feels different.
Jake Stoneburner was coach singled him out for having a good game on a game where he didn't have any catches. Mm-hmm. Can you just speak of, in this scheme, the blocking, how important that is to the receiver position, and not only what he's doing, but all of the guys? Because everybody always looks at catches and everything, but in this offense, I'm sure it's a lot more complicated.
Yeah, I mean, we have, we ask our wideouts to really block the perimeter better than I would imagine most schools do, just because of our perimeter run game. And they blocked very well on Saturday, and when they don't block well, the offense doesn't go. When they do block well, it goes. And Jake's a testament to that. He had an unbelievable game blocking, and like you said, he didn't have any receptions, but I mean, he was as valuable as anybody else on the field because of how he blocked. And that's critical. That's critical as we move forward, and that's been critical in every successful drive, play, or game we've had. They need to be able to block extremely well. And it's not an easy skill. I mean, you're asking a guy to block an athlete with that much space, and they've done a decent job at it, and we need to continue to get better. And as we get better, you'll see the offense improve even further.
Yeah, just following up on that, he's been known as a receiver. I don't think you threw the ball to him at all, right? I don't think there were any plays that were designed.
To Jake? Well, I mean, he was a viable option on a number of plays, but just their structure of coverage, no. He didn't have any catches.
That's his forte or has been. How is he adjusted to the blocking role and taking to that?
I mean, he's adjusted well. I mean, he's where he's at right now as far as a blocking standpoint. He's made tremendous improvements from fall camp, spring practice, even until now. And he's done a nice job, and I feel confident with him out there. He's a big body guy that's extremely athletic, and he's a tight end by trade, but obviously lining up in a lot of receiver sets because he's so athletic, and he's done a good job.
Coach, Brandon Castell with Deals. And Coach Myers talks about wanting to get the ball into the hands of his playmakers and writing out guys' names he wants to get the ball to. When you have a week like that where a guy like Jake doesn't catch a pass, does he come in and say, hey, we got to make sure we get this guy more involved? Or
I mean, yeah, to an extent, but also a defense can take away a certain route, a certain, and it's just going to open someone else up. So you'll see week to week a certain position or a certain guy will have more touches than another guy just because of the structure of defense. Now we have ways of getting guys the ball, and we're a matchup offense. So Jake is a matchup problem for other teams, we feel. So yeah, that's definitely in our plans to try to feature him a little bit too.
Urban has talked about Devin as a go-get-it guy. You can sort of count on that. How do you work that in? Do you have times where you work with Braxton and work with him to say, not that you just throw it up there, but that give a guy a shot, it maybe doesn't have to be perfect, but give him a chance to make a play? Do you try to take advantage of that skill with him?
Yeah, I mean, but not just him. I mean, that's something we've done since we got here, kind of to identify a guy that will go get the football in the air. I mean, it's dependent on the play call, but if that's a viable option and it's one-on-one, you got to feel confident that Devin Smith, as our ex-receiver, is going to win his one-on-one against the DB. So we've done that since we got here, and not just with him, but he's shown that, and he's improved on that quite a bit. So we feel really good about him if he's one-on-one.
Yeah, Zach, as you've watched video of Michigan State, does Max Bulla, their midside linebacker, middle linebacker, does he jump out? I mean, what do you see about their defense and him in particular?
Yeah, I mean, they put him in position to make plays. I mean, I think he's a really good player. I mean, I think he's solid in the run game, and he's efficient in the pass game. So I think the way their defensive structure is, they allow him to be a good player, and he is that. So, I mean, I think he's definitely something that we need to be aware of and take advantage of.
Does he look better than, well, you didn't see him last year, but, the end and stuff. Just
Yeah.
talk about him, his presence.
Well, I mean, it's early right now, and I'm watching a lot of secondary stuff and coverage. So I've noticed him, but I'm obviously not studying him. But, I mean, I think he's a very talented player. He's a big, athletic dude that can run now. I mean, and I think he'll be a matchup problem for anyone, and I think we'll obviously have to have a plan for that. But he's a talented kid.
Hey, Zach, Dave Betzel, 610 WTVN. How much of the development in Ohio State's passing game this year rests on the shoulders of the receiving core, and how much of it rests on the improved play of the quarterback? I'm sure it's a little of both, but if you could kind of tell us, where the improvements are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really both. I mean, I think the receivers need to continue to develop, their route running, catching the football, and developing the trust with the quarterbacks so that it's cooking, it's efficient. And that's not something that is, the quarterback needs to get better, the wideouts need to get better. I mean, honestly, they both need to get better, and the trust developed from getting better will produce a greater pass game, a more efficient pass game. So I think it's something that we definitely need to improve, and the quarterbacks need to trust that we are going to win, trust that we are going to get open, and when they do, that's when you're really, really efficient in the throw game.